to Swahili Nation Network. This is Dr. Abenezer with you, talking about African potential, and will be my second session this time. Still, we're going to be discussing about the potential in Africa and everything that we've been discussing so far. Before we start that one, we just want to go down with prayer, and I want everyone to think for a moment that we're here for a reason and for a purpose. And our Creator gave us that purpose. So we're here in this platform together by a reason. And that reason is the purpose that God has already given to us. And whatever religious perspective you have, I believe in God, and I'm hoping you do the same. So I'm just going to start the session by a prayer. Thank you, Lord, for this day, and thank you for gathering us here together again. Thy will be done, and bless the night that we're the session and people that are in this platform, and give us a good time. Amen. So I'm back again talking about potential and the potential in Africa. But this week, I'm back with a different title. Yes, there is a potential in Africa, and we've been told about every potential that, and many people have come to Africa and have discussed everything that we actually know. And we've been told to just, in Africa, there's a huge potential, there's a huge ability, and you have resources. And we've been saying that. We've been saying there's resources everywhere, and we've been saying there is potential in Africa. And, as an African, we think for a second. But today I'm going to take you off that potential issue, not only of the potential issue, but I'm going to challenge everyone who's coming to this platform. I'll be challenging you that Africa is sleeping on gold, diamond, uranium, platinum, coltan, and call it, name it, we have it. That's what I said last week. And again, I'm going to say it. We're sleeping on it and begging for bread. Most of the time when we talk about potential, like I said last time, and last week, we've discussed about the potential and the idea of potential. And when we said potential, there's potent and potential. Potent is having the strength, and potential is, like possessing the ability, but not have come yet into an actuality. It hasn't become a reality. So what do we do to change that? What do we do to change the potential that we have, which hasn't become a reality, an actuality? How do we convert that into potency? How do we make it potent? So today I'm going to be challenging all my platform members and all Swahili Nation Network members to come in and join the discussion, and let's challenge the potential that we have. Yes, we have a potential, and it's been said 100 million times, but a potential that's not used is not a potential at all. So for work to be done, if you're a physicist and here, help me out. For work to be done, something has to move, and some force has to be exerted upon the thing that we're moving. So if that's the case, then potential is not work. Potential is not just success. Potential is not everything. So we're sleeping on that. So I will say today on this session, yes, you expect me to talk about potential, and I'll be asking you and talking to you that Africa is poor by choice. If you have a doubt about that, an argument, join in and just challenge me and challenge us, all of us. Let's challenge one another. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this channel with many people as you can, so that our message to Africa and our message to One Africa can be heard all over Africa. And whoever you know in your country, outside your country, whoever needs to know about One Africa, let them know, let them come in, let them challenge us the same way. So I'll be going forward with the discussions. Growing up, I heard a story about in the Bible that like I heard a story of Jacob and Esau. So when I see Africa, I see Jacob, and when I see Esau, I see the other world. So Esau was blessed with one blessing, and Jacob was blessed everything. Basically, he took everything, and the other guy was left alone without anything. So I'm going to start up with that story because it makes sense when you come to Africa. We have everything. We literally own everything: uranium, diamond, gold, silver, coltan, copper, cacao, vegetables, sunset, sunrise, waterfalls, natural resources. Call it, we have it. You just name one thing and we have it. In Africa, we have it. That's what happened to Jacob. He took all the blessing and just run off. Now, when running off, like he went down that road. I'm not going to go into this story of that person, but I'm just going to relate it, how much he has got, the blessings that he has. He's going to be a new nation, but he took all that, just went and spent it on the wrong thing. Not the wrong thing and the wrong choices. He made the wrong choices, the wrong decisions, and all that. So, but when you look at Esau, he said to his father, "Have you not one blessing?" And this is what his father said to him: "When you become restless, then you shall break the yoke of your brother from your neck." That's it. I may not have said it word by word. That's what he said. When you become restless. So when Jacob and Esau met in the mid roads on the way, then this is what happened. Jacob wanted to bribe him, but Esau said, "What I have is enough because I have become restless." That's what I understood. I have become so restless from that day you took all the blessing from me, and I've worked and worked and worked and made enough money for myself. So this is basically Africa. Africa took time. Africa is still taking time. And for one Africa to happen, we need action. We need a certain an amount of action that we've never seen before. But for that to happen, we have leaders, we have politicians, we have the AU, we have we have all the things that we need, but we're not doing anything. So today I'm going to challenge everyone that we're sleeping on gold. We're poor by choice. I can put that one in a really simple perspective for you, because when I talk about this, I don't want you to have me in the wrong side. I want you to have me in the bright side. So this is the story. When you come to Ethiopia, working hours are 8 hours. I'm not challenging anyone on working hours, but work ethics is really poor. This is where I live. This is what I can talk about. When you go to the United States of America, working hours are extremely flexible and work ethics is actually very good. Why? I'll have my own reasons for that one, and you'll give me one reason. If you're from America, you can tell me why the reasons are so high. I mean, there could be millions of reasons why the work ethics goes that way, but I'm going to challenge all of us today because we're sleeping on gold. We're sleeping on everything that we own, yet we're looking for mercy of the United Nations to come and help us with the wheat, with oil, with call it every help that we're getting. Why? Because we don't want to work. We don't want to challenge ourselves to the maximum point. So this is where I want to challenge everyone today. We're sleeping on gold. We're sleeping on diamond. And we expect the United Nations. We expect IMF. We expect World Bank. We expect the Western to come and tell us that we do have potential. So if we have potential, if I'm sleeping on gold, no one needs to remind me. When I travel in parts of Ethiopia, I've seen lots of bare lands that haven't even been, plowed once in a lifetime. There are spaces in Ethiopia, free land, where there's no crop, or there's no livestock or anything. It doesn't even have forest. There's just a bare land. Next to it is a big river or just a big lake, something like that. We do have that one. But why is Ethiopia still poor? That's the question. Is really Ethiopia poor? Because Africa, as far as I know, as far as I'm concerned, Africa is the richest continent in the entire world. In the entire world. The biggest, actually. We occupy 45% of the land in the world. 1/3 is the land. And out of that 1/3, we occupy at least 45% of the land. And we haven't even utilized the land. I'm not talking about natural resources, mining, coal, or anything. I'm just asking, have we actually utilized our land to its maximum capacity? So this is where I expect everyone to come in and join the challenge. And let's face it, I mean, this is a year of brutal honesty for members of Swahili Nation Network and members of all African family. Anyone who's African should be discussing and listening to this one, because I'm sure that you've seen, I can't mention it. I mean, basically, you've seen a huge potential in Tanzania. You've seen a huge potential in Kenya. You've seen a huge potential in Ghana, in Chad or DRC or Egypt. But, sometimes I wonder, because Egypt has been using the Nile for how many years now? Like, as long as Nile existed, and as long as even Egypt existed, Egypt has been using the Nile. So far, the irrigation system in Egypt, it's so funny. When you look at it, it's really funny. There's no even drip irrigation system. They just cut the ground and they just let the water flow through. It's like, we don't need to change anything because this is okay by us. No, it's not okay. It's never okay to not change. It's never okay to not progress. I'm a science person. I'm also a faith person. But there's some line that there's always change. There's always progress. Like, if there are parents in here, when you're a father or when you're a mother, when your wife is pregnant, and then you have to wait 9 months. The first 3 months or 2 months is okay. She can do whatever she wants. She can wear whatever she wants. But there is change in her body after, the third or the fourth month. And then she can't do everything she wants because there's a limitation, because there is a baby progressing inside her body. It feels like Africa is single. Africa is not just, doesn't care. Africa just wants to have fun and, like, have fun with people's money. It's a debt money. Still, we're enjoying debt money. So that's where we'll be discussing today. What do we have as a resource, as a human resource? You can call it, have we utilized 2-3% of it? That's where we're going to challenge Africa today and tonight. If you haven't shared this with your family, friends, and everyone who's concerned, please share. And if you haven't subscribed to this channel, please subscribe to the channel. This is Swahili Nation Network. And just click the like button if you really like the topic. It will help us grow. And share it with your family members and everyone. So I want everyone to come in and join, because it will be interesting to have people's opinion today. And I remember I listened to Dr. Mensa Otabil, a Ghanaian teacher, once speak about England. Like the British, when they set out to colonize, when they walked to Africa, they said, we're going to colonize every angle of the world, that one day the sun will never set on the British Empire. That's a motto. That's a motto of an island people. They said the sun will never set on the British Empire. Why? Because they believed in the fight they're fighting. They believed in the struggle that they're struggling. And that struggle actually is the struggle of making England everywhere. And to be honest, they've succeeded to some amount. They've succeeded because for now, I'm not even speaking an African language. I'm speaking a British language, which was born in England, which is English. So they have succeeded in some aspects of their life. They have succeeded in many different ways, and they have failed in different perspectives. You might say failed, but I feel like they have succeeded somehow. So the sun never sets on the British Empire as long as we're speaking English. I'm not against speaking English, but this is an amazing agenda. A people from an island decided that the sun shall never set on the British Empire. And Africa, the giant, actually, the sleeping giant, couldn't decide until this day. The AU couldn't come up with a plan to unite Africa. The AU couldn't come up. We don't actually have to only unite. Sometimes we can do, for example, economic relationships, travel relationships, work relationship, educational relationship within Africa. This could have been started. By now, we should have learned from the EU. We should have learned from the United States of America. We should have learned from the entire world that without unity, there is no success. If you're alone in a forest, you'll die. If you're together with people, you'll devise a way of surviving. You can fight off whatever is coming for you. If you're a lone soldier, you'll die. If you're with your army, you'll survive. You'll have a chance of defense, backup, and all those things. That's what Africa needs. One united Africa. So for that, they set out on a journey, and they said the sun shall never set on the British Empire, and they came to every angle of the world and tried to help at the same time, tried to take. And I can't blame them because we've been blaming them for a while, and I'm done blaming people for my mistakes. This is the day that we're going to start. Actually, this is the day that we're going to start not blaming, but taking responsibility. As long as we don't take responsibility, it's going to be, he did that, I did that. No, not actually. I did that, he did that, she did that. All that blame shifting is going to continue. And we're going to have to cut that now. Because when we take responsibility, I'm a veterinary doctor. So if I understand the disease perfectly, and if I reach to a conclusion which disease it is, I've already reached 50% of the treatment. To sustain the health of the animal that I'm treating, all I need is 50% of the knowledge, what it is caused by, the causative agent. If I identify that one, then I've solved the mystery. The only thing remaining from that forward is just treatment. And treatment is effective, then 75% or 95% is almost success rate. So this is what we need. We need to take responsibility. We need to own up. And it's like, we need to man up. We need to own up our responsibilities, why we have failed as a great nation. We have been sleeping on a gold, on a treasure that the world has never seen. And guess what we're doing? We're begging for bread. And I think it's time to say no more begging for bread. And when you see the rest of the world, they don't mind dying for the next generation to survive. When you come to Africa, there's a fear of death. There's fear of, fear of being, what do you call it? Like dying or losing what you have. I mean, most of the time I ask people, what do you have to lose? I mean, what do I have to lose? I have nothing to lose, to be honest. I haven't built an empire that I'm afraid of losing, a castle or like an army. I'm not afraid of anything, to be honest. Then this is time to take responsibility and say, like, you know what, this is it. I'm ready to die for my grandchildren to live a good life. That's what America did. That's what the British did. That's what Europeans are doing. That's what the Chinese actually did. What happened to Africa? I want to ask every one of you who are viewing this live stream today, I want you to just question yourself. what happened to Africa? If you're from Kenya, what happened to Kenya? If you're from Uganda, what happened to Uganda? Look around you. You see potential. Rwanda, Uganda, Chad, Nigeria, these are potent countries in Africa. Most of the countries in Africa are potent. They have the potential, the capability of doing something. They have the strength, they have the resources, the human resources, the mineral resources, ground resources. Their environment is full of resources. And even the climate, the weather condition. It's an amazing resource. Culture, the diversity, the tolerance. They don't know tolerance like we do. In Tanzania, correct me if I'm wrong, there are 121 ethnic groups. In Ethiopia, there are more than 85 ethnic groups. We have lived so far together. Despite the fact that there were quarrels every time, we've lived so far together. We've intermarried. We know the level of tolerance. That's what happened. When the white folks came to colonize, the Africans said, hey, another ethnic group, let's live with diversity and tolerance, and let's just continue. But they didn't come with a plan to, live in diversity. They came with a plan to survive. Why isn't Africa in a survival mode? Why is Africa always in sleep mode? Why is Africa always hibernating? Why? I want you to look around yourself. I want you to look around in your country. Look around it and tell me, what happened to that country? What happened to Madagascar? What happened to South Africa? What happened to Botswana? What happened to Libya? What happened? How did we get stuck where we are today? How? I just want you to ask this question today, because if we don't ask this question today, no one's going to ask it for us. They're going to keep us in a sleep mode, and then they're going to keep taking whatever they need by just giving us a piece of bread. How can a great nation, how can a potent nation with full of potential beg for bread? How can a land, 45% of the land of the world with all the minerals needed for growing crop, how can they feed us? How come we are not the feeders? How come we're not capitalizing when the world is going into chaos? Why are we still here? Why are we stuck? This is the question that I want everyone today to ask themselves, and answer it here in the platform, or you can answer it to yourself. I don't mind where you answer it. But I want you to look around yourself and say, what do I see in my country? What do I see in Kenya? What do I see in Tanzania? What do I see in Ghana? What do I see in South Africa? What do I see in Egypt? What do I see in South Sudan? What is the potential? Then why is South Sudan still there? That's the question I'm asking everyone today. So you can join in on this show, and you can share your opinion. You can send us comments, and I'll try to read some of the comments and try to respond to a couple of them. And Maria Den Odin, I think, true, so important to take responsibility. To blame others is easy and won't bring change. Thank you. Won't bring change. Here's an important lesson from animals. Since I'm a veterinarian, let me tell you what animals are capable of. They have instinct. We have the so-called mind. We think of everything. Before we do anything, we think. It's a good thing. That's what makes us intelligent in many different aspects. But when you look at animals, they detect change. When the climate changes, they can sense it. They can fly away from one part of the world to another part in packs to survive. That's instinct. If they can adapt to change, what happened to us? Why aren't we changing? And Pal here, and Maria Den Odin, if I'm spelling your name correctly, just help me out. But you said, I think people forgot how to dream to plan. Yeah, I'm gonna go to that one with Marriott, I think people lost their imagination, not just their dream. Actually, they just lost their imagination. I think this is an assignment for Professor Isra, on education. I'll just say bits and pieces, but he can organize this one perfectly, and we'll have a good platform with him. And I think this is what happened. We lost our imagination. The education system that we adopted from them killed our imagination and just made us kind of a lost dreamer. We just lost everything. So when imagination dies, everything dies, literally. So we have to adjust back. When we were kids, we could imagine lots of things. I mean, we could imagine if we could fly. That's how airplanes were invented. We can imagine if I could build, a super powerful gun for myself, or arrow, or I don't know, something for myself to protect my family. Those imaginations help develop weapons today. Those are imaginations that we had as kids, but the education system in Africa couldn't help us imagine more so that we can develop it and turn it into a dream come true, into a success. It was taken away from us. When you want to become a teacher, they will discourage you. Teacher, come on. You just want to stand in front of a blackboard and hold a chalk or whatever marker that you have, and then you just want to teach. When you want to become a pilot, come on. And it's like, there are some professions that you want to be. Many people want to be something. Like they wanted to be something. But when the education takes away the imagination from you, then your country loses a lot of potential that the country was supposed to use and utilize. But that imagination dies, and then another generation comes, and the generation that its imagination was killed in the past will kill another generation by killing the generation that is coming to take over by killing their imagination. So it's not just a dream, Marriott and Odin. It's also the imagination that was crippled in Africa. So you can join in on the live stream, and we can have this discussion together. You can share your opinions, and still don't forget to share, subscribe, and hit the like button if you haven't still. So, and also you can have notifications, turn on, the bell next to subscribe so that you can have reminders when the next show is. And it's not only me. There are lots of people, lots of agendas being discussed on Swahili Nation Network. You can join in and just share it with friends and families and everyone around you so that they can hear this message that we're sending out to the African youth, and grow it, help us grow and help us achieve a One Africa in our generation. So, and Pi 6 region, I think it's most countries are still in survival mode, which is the basic and first human trait. I don't know, Pi, if I can agree on that one, because if you're in survival mode, you try to survive. When a wounded animal, when you wound an animal, it's attacked, and then if it's in survival mode, it will actually definitely destroy anything around it that is preventing him from surviving. We're not doing that. I don't think we're even in survival mode. We're in sleep mode. That's today's challenge. We're in sleep mode. Who's gonna wake us up? Because we really need a strike button. We really need a wake up button. It's not just something that's gonna touch us. Hey, wake up. That's not what we need. It's not our mother waking us up in the morning that we need. It's not our father waking us up in the morning. It's a hit on the head, a hit on the nose, a blinding slap that we need to wake up today and make Africa rise to greatness. That's what we need. It's not just survival mode. We're in sleep mode. If survival was the issue today that we're discussing, we would be organizing an amazing event in Africa, united. I mean, we actually have 1.4 billion people when you count. When you ask the youth these days, when you ask them, what do you want to do? They say, I want to go to Europe. I want to go to Canada. I want to go to America. I want to go somewhere. I want to get out of my country. What happened? Back in the days, I remember on TVs when we watched the news, there were students from university who bursted out into anger and then just changed regimes in Ethiopia that they had questions. They have reason to do it. But what happened to this use? To use of these days, what happened to it? Why did we lose the stamina of becoming our ancestors? What happened? Why are we still sleeping when the world is scrambling around resources? Why are we still sleeping and laying down and just checking if we have bread on the plate today, tonight? When you ask everyone, no one questions authorities. No one questions what's happening around them. All they need is for food to be around, like for inflation to be controlled. That's not survival mode. That's sleep mode. We're sleeping. We're just under a controlled addiction of called living. If Elon Musk was worried about dying, if Bill Gates was worried about dying, I would understand, because they're building an empire. They're even planning to go to Mars and live there. These guys are planning the next generation. I'm sorry to use this, the next generation shit. That's what they're planning. And, like in Africa, we're talking about, oh, no. We don't need to ask authorities, and we're going to quarrels, and we're gonna have unstable country. We already have unstable countries. Africa is unstable. Africa is a ticking bomb that's gonna explode at some point. And they're coming back for us, whether you like it or not, whether I like it or not. So this is our choice today. The choices that we make today are going to define the future. If we don't stand as a nation, as one nation, today, no one is going to stand for us tomorrow. We have to start today. That's what I believe. So, Yosef Befekadu, hello Swali Nation family. Hello Yosef Befekadu, how are you? Mariette Den Odin, yeah, you do it very well, Abenezer. Thank you very much. Okay, Yenatan. Salam, a great analogy, Dr. Abenezer. Thank you, Yenatan. It would be really amazing if you guys just joined in and, click on the StreamYard button and just join in and just, let's face it, let's put on opinions. Today, I don't want to just lay out the facts that are happening in Africa. I just don't want to talk about them only. I want to continue with the solution too. When we are done with this session, your opinions are going to be gathered. We're going to watch it again and again and again. We're going to take every solution that you're going to present today. So I want you to join in. I want you to come in. Let's do it. Let's lay out the problems and then let's give it a solution. Because last week's session, I told you that problems present opportunities. Imagination, if you have imagination, an imaginative mind, an imaginative generation, then that will give you a solution provider mind. But if you're facing a problem in Africa, for example, if you're facing, let's say, customer service problem, develop a system where you can provide the best customer service. Develop something unique. Training of a lifetime. Training for changing people's lives. That's a solution. That's what I'm looking for today. So I'm not just going to talk. I want you to join in. And again, let's discuss with each other. Maria De Odin, yes, Pi. I think that's true for a lot of people. Okay. All right. Yes, that's what I hear a lot from young people from Africa. They lost somewhere the interest to build their own country. It's not just losing to build their own country. This is what I think. This is what I think most of the time. Um, what our fathers and mothers lost, they tried to provide it to us. For example, freedom. Freedom to express yourself, freedom to challenge your parents, freedom to go out on dates when you can and explain it to your parents. Those things, they adopted it. And they said, you know what? My father didn't give me the opportunity to do this, and my mother didn't do that for me. So, like, I have to do it for my son. While doing that, we committed a crime against, the generations. We told our generation to survive by itself. I mean, run for yourself, run for your life. That's the kind of. I don't know if you watched the movie Home, the animation, Captain Smack. Whenever there's chaos, he said, "Run for my life." He doesn't even say like, "Run for your life." That's it. That's the generation that we built in Africa. So now, most people go to Europe and find it comfortable. There is no system in Africa. Yeah, there is no system in Africa. There is no even system to print out ID for you. The ID that we still have, if I show you my ID right now, you would say, wow, that's like the 19th, 17th century thing over there that you're holding. That's what you would say. We don't even have those things. There is no system that's going to run. As long as we keep running away from Africa, who is going to change Africa? It's not about losing hope. It's all about mobilizing the youth. It's all about using the youth to change Africa. We don't need to leave. We need to build Africa. Like, we're going to, at the end, this is funny for me. People say, if I leave Africa, this is my honest opinion. I've never wanted to leave Africa, and I will never leave Africa. That's my interest. If I leave Africa, though, in hard times, if I leave Ethiopia in hard times, I'm never coming back. This is what I'm going to tell you, to be honest. I'm never coming back. I'm never talking about Ethiopia, because I left a motherland just for money. Money will come. We own the money. We own the gold. We own the diamond. We just didn't want to dig. But when we go to the other countries, working is good. Work ethics is good. We just fit in. When we come back to our Africa, work ethics, no one teaches you in school. Not in churches, not in mosques. No one teaches you about working. That's why Africa is poor. We're stuck. We're stuck at a point. It's okay. We just say, it's going to be okay. No, it's not going to be okay. I'm not going to tell you today, everything's going to be okay. It's going to keep getting worse unless we wake up, rise as one nation. So please join our live stream, and let's just face it. Sam, welcome to this show. And as always, you've been writing a lot, and thank you, because your comments and your opinions matter. But I was expecting today that you'll be joining us and we'll be discussing with you. Like, I don't want to discuss with my teammates only. I want to discuss with you too. So, Sam, why don't you just hit the StreamYard button? Let's talk about this. I want you to give me solutions just directly to me. That's what I would want you to do. So, Sam, if you don't mind, just join in. So, Sam said, if it is unity that we want, we must show Africans the result of unity. If we are here, unite and show the fruits unity, it will attract others to adopt a model of unity. And then this will snowball and become the default. Currently, nobody has experienced unity. Perhaps people subconsciously don't believe it will exist. That's true. That's true, Sam. I agree with you about that one. When you talk about African unity, people say, like, we haven't even been able to unite Ethiopia. How are you talking about Africa? and my answer always is, when you talk about the bigger picture, you stop seeing, the minor pictures. These are issues that we're dealing with, the leftovers of a political system, or a colonial system that left us divided and told us some of them are special, some of them are not special. That's the system that we're trying to decolonize those minds, like leave a footprint today and then change Africa for better. So yeah, Sam, thank you for that one. And Marie, as if starting life in US or EU would be easy. Ha, true, it won't be easy. It's not heaven over there. I understand that one too. Thank you for that one. Roger Bannister in the 1950s or 60s ran a 1 mile in 4 minutes. Until then, scientists said that was impossible for human body to achieve. Okay. Can you relate that one to the topic that we're discussing today, Sam, if you could? If we show that it can be done, oh, thanks. The next 100 years, even high school students ran a mile in under 4 minutes. If we show that, oh, thank you. Thank you, Sam. Sorry for that one. Lidet Shamil, Dr. Lidet Shamil, she's up here. If Pastor Ezra could, focus on Lidet here on the. She's a master's student. She's doing her master's in pathology, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, yes, Lidet Shamil. She's currently working with me in my company. She's doing her research. I'm working on dairy farming, and she's doing her research with me. And she's a really bright-minded person. And she said the education system is not tailor-made for us. Education shouldn't be information overload. Rather, it should help the student find out their talent, capacity, and creativity. Lidet, if you could just join in the live stream, we could have this discussion right here, right now. And it's okay. You might not be, it might be your first time, but you'll get used to it. We're here to give solutions. I know Lidet personally, and she just pointed out perfect idea. Because the education system, when you go to schools, universities in Africa, in Ethiopia, especially where I am, I mean, it's not just tailor-made for us. It doesn't even work. It's not a functional education system. So thank you for that idea, Dr. Lidet. If you could just join in and share your ideas, it would be amazing too. Pi 6 region. Sorry, Maria, I accidentally pressed wrong button. Okay. All right. Yeah, okay. Mortality is a must for mankind. Let's stand up for our freedom using wisdom-led bravery. One Africa. Yosef Befekadu, thank you very much. Thank you, Yosef. Because, we should be afraid of not death, but indifference. Yet we're afraid of death. The only fact, the only truth on earth is death. You're going to die, I'm going to die. That's the only fact that remains. Yet we're afraid of it. And when you ask people why they're afraid, they don't even know why they're afraid. And some people forget that death exists. And then you realize, okay, so you don't know that death exists. So this is funny. Why are we afraid of death? So mortality is a must for mankind. Yosef Befekadu said this. Let's stand up for our freedom using wisdom-led bravery. One Africa. Perfectly said, Yosef Befekadu. Please hit the live stream button and then just share your opinion with us. We have shared it. We have shared the live stream here, and then you can just join in. So that's one thing. No problem, Pi. Okay, all right. Abenezer, what I meant is I believe people are in survival mode mentally. They think about their own tribe, political party only. On here, most of us know the history and have deep perspectives. Thank you, Pi. That's true. Okay, from that perspective, I think I understand what you're trying to say. Because, yeah, it's true. people are in survival mode mentally, but physically we're actually in sleep mode. Mentally we're fighting off, like, I gotta live. First I have to live, first I have to stay alive, first I have to do this, first I have to feed my kids. I think that's the survival mode for us. But what I want people to understand is survival mode is not like that. Survival mode is way bigger. When you're in a survival mode, you have to, like, literally fight anything that is going to surround you, and take away what you have. So that's what I meant by survival mode. So thank you for that one. So please hit the live stream button and join our show, and just let's have an open discussion, honest discussion. I'm not afraid of discussions. I'm just afraid of silence. So just come in, join us, and we'll see what it's going to do. So let's do that, please. How many people in the continent and diaspora know the cobalt, oil, gas, gold, diamond, coffee, livestock, etc., is being stolen? Pi, sixth region. Thank you. No one actually knows. No one. Where Starbucks takes our coffee and brands it into Starbucks and sells it for triple or quadruple of the price, and nobody knows that one. So I don't think no one knows, Pi, to be honest. And you raised a good point. There's a lot of untapped potential when you really look into it. Yes, there's a lot of untapped potential. You put it in really good wording, and I love it. There is a lot of untapped potential, but we haven't still used single of it. I mean, just point out what you have used in your country, and just let me know if we have done that. So I'm gonna continue. So what we need by far, I think, my opinion is we need commitment, we need dedication, we need willingness to change. I think I'm living in a country where change is very hard. Even when you try to change. When I first started working where I am working right now, people said, in the old times we used to do this, and I said, it's not the old times, and I was hated for it. I was hated, and I was even they even tried to personally attack me, because change was not there. There was no change. It's just routine every single day, and then it just goes around and goes around, and people are like stuck in a routine. Then when you start changing something, they will say like, no, you can't do that way. The old days I used to do that. This is how you used to do things. No, that's it's not going to continue the way you used to do it. If it was the right way, okay, you can continue. If there is still an improvement on the right way, there is going to be change. So change is what we need. And dedication and commitment, willingness to change, determination is what we need. As an African, we need to be determined to own up that it's us who's letting everything happen to Africa. It's time to say, the hashtag no more went crazy, right? Like it went really nuts, because Ethiopia was fighting an African war, and blah, blah. It went on nuts. It went on crazy, and people were like, whoa, let's share this. Let's go to the embassies and face them and tell them that no more. Why isn't the hashtag no more continuing yet? Hashtag no more to Africa. Africa is trying to survive. Why isn't there a hashtag no more for that one? Why did it stop now? Just because the war in Ethiopia ended? Just because somebody lost, somebody won, and blah, blah? No, why? Why did it stop? Why didn't that movement continue? Was that movement just a kind of wave to make Africans, burst out? This is what I always say. If you're angry at something, and when you take it out, you lose the anger. But when you're angry at something, when you're angry at being poor, if you let it out, you're going to be poor again. When you're angry, take that anger, channel it, and then use it to get out of that poverty that you are in, that poverty that I am in. I need that determination. I need that commitment. I need that dedication to change my status. No one is going to come, not even my father, not my brother, not my sister. None of them are going to come and help me out. I have to have that commitment, dedication. You know, I can give you money, you can give me money, and then, you know, the circle continues. I feed you today. This is the quote that I really love. Teach a man how to fish, you feed him for a life. Give a man a fish, you feed him for a day. No one is actually teaching us how to fish. Everyone is telling us that they can feed us fish. Why are we taking the fish? Why don't we ask for, you know, like for how to catch the fish? How did you catch it? Fish is slimy. How did you catch the fish? We don't even ask. We just take it. Keep taking. And then at the end of the day, we're just in debt. We're going to have to stop doing that. That's where we need to say, no more of those things that you're giving us. We're done. How did you produce it? When somebody gives you a phone, ask them how they made it. When somebody gives you a drone, ask them how they made it. When somebody gives you a camera, ask them how they made it, what's made of. Nobody is questioning those. We have inventors in Africa. I've seen YouTube videos about invention in Africa. Where are we? So I think we need to wake up on that one. So the title for today is Poor by Choice. So basically, challenge me on that. Let me challenge you on that. Then we can come up to a solution. Africa is poor by choice. So that's the title today. So are we not poor by choice? Challenge me, because I believe we're poor by choice, and I can see it, how we chose to be poor. And you can convince me otherwise, and you can tell me, no, Africa is not poor by choice, it was forced. No, nobody forces you to be poor. Nobody forces you to be stuck somewhere that you're not supposed to be stuck. So Africa is poor by choice. That's my title for today, and I'm gonna challenge you. I've been talking too much, and I want you to come in and join me on this show, and let's just share opinions and ideas. So dedication, commitment, willingness to pay the price needed for greatness. That's what they have, which we lack. If you agree on this, you can share with me, and you can come into the live stream and we can discuss also about it, because that's what they have. That's what we lack. And Africa lacks dedication. Africa lacks willingness to change. Africa lacks the commitment to change, because, you know, change is inevitable. So in this way, I'm gonna suggest you read a book. One moment, please. So I want you to read a book called Who Moved My Cheese? You see that book? It's Dr. Spencer Johnson, Who Moved My Cheese? This book is a gift for me by a colleague of mine, a doctor, also gave me this book because I told him about it. I read it. I didn't own the book. And I told him, I wish it was the book I owned. And he just bought it and brought it to me. It was a surprise. So read that book. It's an amazing way to deal with change in your work and in your life. That's what it says. It's 82 or 87 pages. When you read that book, it's gonna change your life. Trust me. You're not think the same way about change after reading this book. So read that book. Let's face the reality. This is a challenge that I'm going to bring to you. Africa is poor by choice. Whether we like it or not, Africa is poor by choice. So let's go into the discussions. Let's, talk about it together. So, there's a lot of untapped potential. Fact is, people are afraid of death because they don't truly believe in God. Okay, they think they do. If you truly believed, you couldn't wait to meet him. Yeah, true. Sam, true. Or they just have a truckload of sins and don't want to meet Satan. Oh, LOL. Okay. Okay, Sam. Come on in, please. Today, even in our newspaper, was a story that EU should start promote legal migration for North Africans because here is a shortage on people for construction, etc. Wow, Marriott, that's amazing information that you shared with us. So okay, Pi 6 said there's Ethiopian coffee here in Asia, and I know 100% the owner is probably Chinese, not Ethiopian. True, true. Many Ethiopian coffee farmers are selling their coffee farm and coming back to coming to the city, Addis Ababa. They buy a building or a car, and then they just that's it. Having no imagination at all. If you can own a coffee house, if you can own a coffee farm, why don't you plan about coffee houses in Addis? Different brand, different unique thing you can present to the world. So yeah, no one is doing that. So basically, you're right. The owner could be Chinese or could be somebody else. To start a ripple effect of better practices in Africa, we can start with a few independent businesses. If they adjust their work ethic and their results reflect it, other businesses will copy. True, Sam. True. Still, we need you to come in. And Sam, we can actually do that here in SNN. Okay, just lay out the strategy and we'll come up with this discussion too. I like the idea. Let's do that. Let's do that, Sam. But you have to come in. Still, you have to come in and talk to us. You don't have to show your face. You can just give us your audio and discuss live here on the live show. So please hit the StreamYard button and just join us. And let's have a really good discussion. Good day, everyone. Happy to catch up alive. Good. And Mario.
Yeah, wait a second.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, wait a second. I'm trying to fix my mic or something or my ears.
Okay.
I've never done this before,
It's okay. Just relax.
Yes.
2 years ago, I've never done this before. So.
I think.
Okay.
Well, I can hear you, I think.
Okay. So, Mari, what do you think about today's topic? Africa is poor by choice. I'm just challenging everyone.
That's a rough one, I think.
We have to be really rough about this.
Well, especially for me to say it then, I think. You are saying it as an African, So
it's
for
okay.
Me to say,
we need every opinion that we can get.
Yeah, okay, I get you. Oh, where are you?
Oh. Mariette tried to come in and she just left. I think she'll be back, I guess. Everyone, please join in. We don't have the whole night. We just have a couple of, after an hour or something, we can just be concluded and done with the show. And then you can think about it, take it home as an assignment with you. Senu, please join in. Hi, Senu T. Senu, okay. Both. There are a lot of external factors that make it near impossible for Africa to pull ourselves out of poverty. I believe it is by design. Sam. I'm going to challenge you on that one. There is no grand design. We just let everyone. We're not a pushover, are we? As an African, we're not a pushover. Mari, how are you? Am I saying your name
Well,
correctly?
yeah, most English speaking don't say it correctly, but it's Marit.
Marit.
Yes.
Okay. Welcome
So,
to the show, Marit.
thanks.
All right.
So,
Okay. All right.
about
So give me some.
what do you want to know?
Okay. You're here in the show, and any opinion that you provide will help us develop a strategic plan for a One Africa. So I'm
Yeah.
saying Africa is poor by choice. I'm not being. I'm being rough. I know that. I'm being rough, and I've been told so. But we have to be rough, and we have to get through the rough to to get to the smooth one. A gem cannot be polished without friction. So Norman is trialed without. Norman is perfected without trial. So that's the principle I follow. So Africa is poor by choice. If you don't want to say it, don't say it. It's okay. But can you agree on a point that Africa is actually sleeping on treasure and begging for bread?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think definitely sleeping in a lot of ways. Um,
Mhm.
and yeah, it's hard to get to wake them up, I guess. To well,
That's
they don't have an
that's
alarm clock or something,
that's what.
So yeah, well,
Okay.
I have a few good friends in Ethiopia, so I can talk a little bit about that, I guess. Then how
Okay.
my
So you
experience
know
in that
Ethiopia.
field. Yeah, I've been there,
Okay.
and
All right.
so yeah, it's hard to get them to make plans or anything, like we as for me as a Dutch person, it's easy, it's how we were brought up, making plans for like for a few days or even for next year. We always make plans, and
True. True.
I get it. In Africa, it's different. A lot of plans well might fail. Same happens to me. Not all my plans are successful, but still we do plan. But
Good.
yeah, what I've seen is in in Ethiopia with my friends, they just lack of the experience of making plans and seeing the need of making plans. They just take it one day at a time, and at some point I could learn from that, because last time that I visited, I was there for about 2.5 weeks or so. I was just by myself,
Okay.
and I got a lot of questions, when I made this trip from my people here. Are you going by yourself? Are you sure it's safe? Blah blah blah. And well, I had the most amazing time because I didn't even plan much, I just went with the flow. So for me to just let everything go and just go with the flow was also good. But um, I think in life it's, well, important that you learn how to stick with a plan and yeah, also
Okay.
mind the time.
Marie,
Yeah.
here's a good one because a friend of ours, a Dutch guy, came to our house. We invited him for dinner once, and he came
Yeah.
to our house, me and my friend. And
Uh-huh.
while we were having dinner, our friends just popped by, and like we didn't invite them. They were passing by, and they just came in. So they came in, they started like picking up and started eating together with us, and we told our friend that it was him and my best friend's wife,
Mm-hmm.
and me. So it was only the four of us, and he said, did you guys plan this? I mean, did you guys plan, or
Uh-huh.
should I take only half? And we said it's okay, and he said, because for me it's really weird. That's what he said, because I can't think of it this way. So you're
No,
right.
we wouldn't do that. We don't come uninvited and stuff like that. But there
Okay.
is, I can see that that does work in Africa, to come uninvited and to be so hospitable. And well, we can learn a lot from that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's with the large things in life take time and take planning, and to change, you also need to plan.
Mm-hmm.
So, and if you want to have a better future, yeah, you have to work for it, we have to work here too. And yeah, nothing is for free.
True.
So that's and I think also in like the aid that has been given, like in the past 50 years or something, a lot went wrong with that,
Okay.
giving free food and destroying actually economics in the continent, like farmers giving them uh free wheat and no seeds actually to build their own crops.
Okay.
So I think that's, yeah, what you said before, teaching them how to fish, just
Good.
handing them fish is easier, but short-sighted.
Mm-hmm.
So
Can I ask you one thing?
yeah,
When you came to Ethiopia, what potential did you see? Let's
um,
say, what potential that you saw, like the potential that you saw that you didn't have in the Netherlands, and that you have it here. We have it here, but we're not using. What did you see?
the strong communities,
Okay.
like people more. Here it's more like individual. We live
Okay.
in the street. I know my neighbors, of course, I do, but we don't depend on each other. We have insurance for that, so we don't
Oh,
need actually to depend on yeah, on different people. Here everything is so on your own, and that's, I think, the beauty in Ethiopia. What I saw is more like the whole community is, well, gathering. I was there with the Ethiopian Christmas, so
okay.
yeah, it was really beautiful to see. And then, well, I was in Welkite. I don't know if you know that. It's close to
Yes.
Hosanna.
Yes.
And
Yes.
well, they celebrated with the butchering of an ox.
Oh,
So on an empty stomach, had to witness that. But
oh,
yeah, the whole community was gathered and all taking part, and yeah, and then go house by house having coffee ceremonies and stuff like that. It's just, yeah, that's amazing. Here we won't do that. You don't
oh.
go uninvitedly to your neighbors for coffee or whatever. You wait
Mm-hmm.
until until you're being asked. So yeah, and then
Oh,
to actually have people like putting food in your mouth, well, yeah,
oh, okay.
that kind of stuff. Yeah, it was really amazing. And um I think, yeah, I have great respect for the way people even share the little things that they have. They are even willing to share it with you anyway, even if um they don't have anything left for tomorrow, then, and that's what we do here. We plan things, so if we invite people, we have enough and even
Okay.
have enough for tomorrow. So yeah, that's but I saw a lot of potential. I Before, it was my third time that I came,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, it has
Okay.
so many beautiful surroundings, and it's very fruitful country. I still believe it can feed its own people, and it's even now with what's happening in the Ukraine and stuff. And I think Africa will be like um, leading, can be the leading countries for supplying our grains and stuff, like if they step up, if there's
Okay.
more investments in that to
Because
be.
because people in the comment section are actually agreeing with you. You know what you were saying, Marit, because Sam here said, Marit, you're on spot, and we really do not plan. Everything is now, now, now. That's what he said. And Sennu also said, well, the Dutch are good at planning because they have history of, okay, colonizing Africa, still do it until today and stuff. Well, she's a bit brutal to that one, and well, honest, then we can say it. And oh, Sally Desu in front, you see it. And for me, yes, Africa is poor by choice. And Senu T Sami also agreed, and she's right though. She's not being offensive. We need to look at the problems as they are, because you know, like sometimes this is not a personal issue, Marit, because this is as a nation. I know my country. I know where I live, and I know we don't plan many of the things that we want to do. And I'm actually working with a Dutch company. I've worked for a long time with Dutch companies, and there is a lot of planning in their life when you see it. So that I agree on. And so that's it. Who's joining us now? Marit, someone is joining us. I think it's Josie. Josie, right?
Yeah.
Yes, Josie. Welcome, Josie. What do you have to say? Africa is poor by choice. Do you agree or not? Marie didn't say anything. Marie didn't say anything about that one, but she suggested some things that she saw as a problem in Africa and the potentials that she saw also when she visited Ethiopia. So, what do you say, Josie?
Yeah, actually, I agree to some extent.
Mm-hmm.
Africa is not naturally, or in fact, Africa is not poor.
Mm-hmm.
And this is one of the issues on which we have been discussing so far since I joined this platform. Uh, you know, uh, there is an issue we are struggling, and that is decolonizing minds. No, it is our minds that made us feel poor. And before that, I want
Okay.
to say something on how, to what extent we are making effort, we are striving, we are acting to achieve even unity, you know. And having unity doesn't need anything. It is simply having mentality of that is enough. And having vision is enough. You don't have to be. You can.
Mm-hmm.
Some country can be poor for lack of natural resources or educated mankind, but a mankind can should not be poor in vision, in having vision, and that is
True.
so. And so, my point begins with issue of mortality. I raised on the comment section.
Mm-hmm.
Mortality is a must. Yeah, it is a must. But I didn't mean that fear is something out. Fear is
Mm-hmm.
there, but there is a fact that fear can never make us escape this. And
Okay.
so,
Agree.
and and I don't mean that we don't need to take care, we don't need to make a cheap sacrifice, but we should use wisdom. We should act wisely, and then we should uh, seek help of God. And this all can make us achieve what you call unity, and they make us free, or they make we can achieve our freedom doing this all. And so one should not refrain from acting to get what he or she deserves just for fear of death.
Mm-hmm.
If death is always there, if death is something natural, if death is a must, if mortality
Yes.
is a must, then why do we refrain from acting, making
Mm-hmm.
effort to get what we
Mm-hmm.
deserve, not to get others' benefit, just to get what we deserve.
True. True.
You know,
Very true, Jose. You really
there
raised a
is.
good point, by the way. Josie, you really raised
Yeah,
a good point earlier when you commented that. I really
yes,
appreciated it because it's a really good point. We should be afraid of indifference, intolerance, the issue of the quarrels that we're facing every now and then. Earlier, Sam said, but
sorry.
Jonathan here says, home is where you make it. Anywhere in Africa is your home. I can imagine being where you can be. Where you are can be lonely. Guess not. Too many black faces there. So, yeah, I mean, so like basically what I'm challenging Africans today, what I'm challenging everyone actually, we need every hand on deck here. We need everyone to join in, not just commenting. I want you to join in the live stream. I want you to come in because we're still waiting for you, and we want you to come in and just face it. Africa is poor by choice. We're sleeping on treasure and begging for bread. That's a fact that we cannot deny. Not because a white man said it, not because a black man said it, or not because a brown man said it. That's the fact that we're facing on the ground. Ethiopia can feed the entire East Africa. That I am sure of. We haven't even used, we still plow with two oxen. And I know that we don't have the dollar and you can complain a lot about it, but still, that doesn't change. It doesn't justify anything. Nothing can justify laziness. We're lazy. That's what I can agree on. As long as we don't accept the facts, then like there is no changing the future. So we need to really work on changing the future. Sally Desu here said, and to make a change, we can't blame it on government, society, education, our environment. Don't get me wrong, these things do matter in self development and growth, but the major issue is each one of us. Thank you, Sally Desu. I wish you could just join in live stream and just share your opinion with us because this is an amazing point that she raised here. She said we point our fingers at the government, at the society, at the ethnicity, at racism, and all those things. That's what we point our finger at. Okay, let's say that was done 100 or 500, 300 years ago because of a colonial system or something. But what happened now? I mean, we do have the information that we need to grow ourselves. We do have the necessary tools and equipments to grow ourselves, but we're not doing anything. Basically, we're not doing anything. We're not doing anything. We're still expecting help. And what actually, I don't know. I don't know how to say this. What actually angers me is last time when the United States and everyone was trying to say like we're not going to give you aid, I saw everyone freak out, and I was like, "Have you been getting aid?" This is what I said. Have you been getting aid? Because I haven't been getting aid. I didn't get any money from the aid that's coming. What is it going to affect you? The only thing it's going to do is you lose comfort, you work your butt off, then you survive. That's what's going to happen if you don't get aid. Aid is based on interest. It's not based on a necessity. It's not one of the necessities. It's just interest. Someone who's interested in helping you will help you. If they don't want to help you, they'll just stop helping you. This is it. So you're right, Sally Desu. I actually agree with your point. Society, education, environment, and blah. Each one of us, we are responsible. We have to take responsibility today. And thank you, Sally. I took responsibility today, and I'm taking responsibility today. And I'm glad you took responsibility. Josie, continue. There is Marit here. Marit, is there anything you want to add to this one?
Yeah, I was reading some comments, and well, I was also thinking about you saying that Africa is poor, right, by choice. Well, actually, it's also our choice, like in the West, to keep Africa poor, actually, or thinking that they are poor. Um, because if you are starting to think that you're not poor, you will charge us more for your products,
Mm-hmm.
and life will become more expensive for us here. And I think that should be happening, and it is already happening now because of the Ukraine. And
Mm-hmm.
still the restaurants are full here and everybody is enjoying their life. Still
Mm-hmm.
there are complaints, gas is going to the rooftop and stuff like that, but people still have the money. Okay, we don't have to go on a holiday like 3 or 4 times a year. That's
Mm-hmm.
crazy. We have too much free time, actually, and too much money, and we need to learn how to share, actually. And the more and more people are seeing that, and we are, yeah,
Thank you.
bringing
This
change
is an
here
honest,
too.
yeah, this is an honest opinion. I think you replied a lot of things, and it's true. I mean, I'm not saying the West is not to blame for what happened, but for what is going to happen, we cannot blame anyone except us. That's where I stand. Josie, do you have anything to say about this?
Yeah, actually, some have been mentioned so far, actually. And
No.
to continue my point, as I
Okay.
said, there was Ethiopian novelist whose name is Ismail Kaworku on his uh, novel Dertogada. It says, uh, it is honor to die for one's nation and a great fortune to have a nation to die for. And for all of us, nothing like Africa that deserves to die for.
Mhm.
And that is what our legends did
Okay.
so far. Our legends, Kwame Nkrumah, Gaddafi, and all did so. That is what they lived, actually. They show us and pass away. But many of us, including me, we simply appreciate them. We are inspired actually when we listen to their speech, when we read what they did from history. But uh, we, we we did very little or not at all to add a bit to their legacy.
Okay.
We are going to pass away,
True. True.
but
Yeah.
the next generation is sure to ask, what did the past added to those legends? That is a must to be asked. We should have answer for this.
True.
And so there are some factors actually, as you said, Africa is natural, but we are not awake. And some of the factors are, as I mentioned, colonized mind. We know there is colonized mind, but
Mm-hmm.
what are we doing? What share or what role are we playing to decolonize our own class others' mind?
Yeah. True.
The next thing is lack of self-awareness that comes from the colonized mind, self-awareness. What does Africa look like? What do we have? What is our potentiality? What does it look like? And then the third point is undermining oneself, one's potential. We can't do that. We can't achieve that. We appreciate past ancestors, the efforts they make to have united Africa. We appreciate
Yes.
their efforts for freedom of Africa that we are celebrating this day. But we say Africa can't be united, we are poor, we are this. This is, undermining. And If you ask, then who else shall make this true? There is no answer, you know. And so each of us are accountable. Of course, uh, it is simply laziness, you know, that make us
Mm-hmm.
poor or seem to be poor. There is natural resource that sustains the rest of the world, but what is
Okay.
needed is simply working hard. So, unless and otherwise, simply crying, crying on the problem doesn't make any change. And let each of us make a bit. Let's add a droplet of water on an ocean that is created by our past legends, and then try to achieve or ourselves, or try to help the next generation achieve prosperous, united, and free Africa. And that is what I want to say. And thank you.
Thank you, Josie, for the amazing point that you actually raised. Um, yeah, it's true. We have the resources that can feed the world. We have everything that we need. The only thing that, like I said earlier, the only thing that's missing is we don't have the commitment, the dedication that Kwame Nkrumah had, the dedication that all our leaders had before, the dedication that took Mandela to prison for 27 years. That's the commitment that we actually need. And we're so afraid of dying, or we're so afraid of sacrificing what we have, our comforts today, and we don't care about what tomorrow is going to happen, what's going to happen tomorrow. Like what's going to happen tomorrow when our children are coming, when our grandchildrens are going, to where are they going to be? The people are worried about their grandchildren. They're worried about 5, 6 generations, and we're worried about only ourselves. And that's in the education system. I'm not going to blame the education system. We have to develop a curricula for that one, instead of just adopting a curricula for it. I'm just gonna show you a map of African resources that, like in mapping, they've already done the hard work for us, and we just need to see the map right now, and then like understand what we have as an African. So I want to share with you the screen, and okay, here it is. I'm going to share it. You'll be able to see it in StreamYard. Is everyone seeing this? Are you seeing it? Josie, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Do you see anything on your screen?
No,
No.
no.
Okay. I'm trying to share it, and maybe, this is my second time on this show, and maybe I'm not really good at it. So
Don't worry.
It's my
yeah.
first, so
So yeah,
but I've seen it before, I think.
yeah. So Isra could help me maybe show this.
But I saw some reply also about the coffee, like Selidasu, she said that about our coffee is being sold for $1.5, and they roast it and they sell it for $16. Well, yeah, I guess that's true that we
True.
do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And we recently had a show about that, about coffee and the coffee trading system. And it was really cynical, actually, also. But they visited a large company here in Holland that was distributing the coffee, and they were doing very good business. They were very proud. And then they also visited the coffee farmer in, I think it was Uganda. And
Okay.
well, they had him on camera and stuff. And well, if he could live from his farming, from the coffee. And he said, well, actually, no, it's not a successful business. I can hardly get by. And then he said something, and it was really sad, actually. He said, well, the company, the trader, they come when not even his harvest is being fully grown, before actually the beans are on the plant. And
Okay.
they offer him money, like good money, he thinks. But actually,
Mm-hmm.
then the program guy said, well, you're actually selling them your future. He said, yeah, you're right. I'm selling my future because he gets this money right away, for his harvest. And then he has to go a long time with this money. And then halfway through, he sees that it's not enough actually to live from for the whole year round. And so they actually don't even drink the coffee because it's too expensive in Uganda. And
Mm-hmm.
then he came back to Holland, to this factory. And then he was interviewing this guy, and he shows them around, and he says, well, it's good business, the coffee. Yeah, it's good business. And then he showed them their wall of fame. And well, this was really interesting, because this company, they were making a lot of profit. And from that, they were making sort of funds or something to fund the the local coffee industry in Uganda and everywhere in the world, actually, um, to help them with schooling and stuff like that, and for um, healthcare and other stuff. So
Okay.
the program maker, he was like looking at this guy and say, "What? Couldn't you just give them more money for the coffee then, instead of making it in a foundation? That they need this. If they
Yeah.
get a fair price for their coffee, they wouldn't need this foundation."
True.
And
True.
this director for the coffee factory, he was actually a little bit like, oh yeah, I never thought about it like that. He was generally thinking that it was like a good deal, that he was doing this good work with his foundation and stuff like that. And
Mm-hmm.
actually he got it all the wrong way. Pay a fair price, and then the farmer can do it himself. He has self-esteem that he has a good business in Uganda, making the coffee bean. And then and that's something that's starting up here now more, the direct trading, that's without all the trading persons in between this whole business. And I think that's more the way to go, to have the direct connection with the farmer, and here the people that are going to sell it, and both knowing who's going to pay what, and how much money they're making.
Okay.
And it's yeah, it's a better deal, I think. But yeah, that's on a small scale still.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh, so you can see where coffee comes from right now,
Hmm.
basically Madagascar and Ethiopia. And
Yeah.
this is one of the places that we get coffee from. I mean, as when you think about it, everything that goes from Africa is rebranded back to Africa and sold again in a
Hmm.
dollar, in a foreign currency, which we actually are struggling with. But here, Nuti Galam said, great discussion point. I disagree with the sentence that Africa is poor, but would rather say Africa chose to live a poor life. You see, the thing is about coffee. I'm actually where coffee was born from. Like I was born in a place that the first coffee was found. And when you go to that place now, you don't see any coffee farmer. You don't see anyone doing coffee business. They wanna move to Addis. Most people want to come to Addis. Most people want to come to somewhere else. And this is funny for me because I'm also living in the Rezait in Bishoftu because I'm a vet. That my professional. I studied here and I stayed here in Bishoftu in just near Addis. So basically people don't want to invest in that area because the price is going cheaper and cheaper day by day, and because the inputs like urea, it's not only that one. You know, the funny thing is there's a company who has to use a specific the investors are from Holland, the buyers, but they have to really buy that material if they use the specific what do you call it, fertilizer. There
Mm-hmm.
is a specification even for that one. And it was funny because there is organic fertilizer. Why didn't they want an organic fertilizer? And they said that's the way of, you know, tying up the business together. Your land is going to get paralyzed because of the fertilizer that you're using, which is inorganic. Then, you know, like, that you maintain a supplier of the fertilizer all the time. So the profit margin stays still low. The deals that we make are always low. And this is it. I mean, this is the fact that we're talking about. And you've been really honest with us, and you've been sharing your experience about this directly. And I would like to thank you for that too. So, Jonathan, if I disagree with someone's opinion, which is DPP controlled by US, I'm a CCP agent. N word, insensitive, undiplomatic, idiot. Finding people I have a common with is rare. Don't feel that way. Pi 6 region and Senu. Africa is not poor. We have poor mindset. Yeah, true. Senu T said that one. And Senu also said we have poor mindset. Africa is not poor. So that's one thing. It's hard to plan when you are constantly worried about making it another day. Tomorrow is never guaranteed. For 40% living on less than 1.9 US dollar a day in Africa. Jonathan, thank you for sharing that information, because this is true. There is, this is one of the reasons, is there's always a cheap labor in Africa. So the government claims there is a cheap labor. Everyone claims it just to attract investors. But when life gets harder, there is no minimum wage. I guess you're in Holland right now, Marie. You know the minimum wage, and what's the minimum wage, for example?
Oh, that's tough. I don't really know because it depends on what you're doing
Oh,
also,
okay,
and your age.
okay,
So with age, and I'm self-employed, so I don't get a payment from just for my
okay.
customers.
All right, good. But it's all about employment. Senno again said Africa is feeding Europe when Africa has been feeding Europe since colonization. It's time we value our people and our land and work with each other, self love, and not focus on tribe issues, religious issues. Seni, very, I would like to thank you about that one too, because it's an amazing point that you raised. We can still feed the world and yet profit from it. That's where I stand, because we really need to work together. One, we really need to feed the world. We need to capitalize on the current status. You know, like, we import oil, we also produce oil, we export oil. And, you know, like, when you look at the products that are produced in Ethiopia, many people don't use the products that are produced in Ethiopia. They would rather buy it from somewhere in Europe because the quality is poor here, and they give you multiple reasons. As long as we don't face the quality and you know, grow the company that's working 24/7 to develop those things, we're not going to grow Africa, we're not going to grow our country. This is what Putin said, I think, once: Africa is a cemetery. So basically, I agree with this point, because many people leave Africa, then when they're about to be buried, they come back to Africa. So whatever they do whatever they want in the world. They explore the world, and, you know, like, then when you want to be buried, you come back to your motherland, and that shouldn't be the case for us. We need to really stand up for Africa. We really need to work towards a common goal and a common good for Africans as an African and give African problems an African solution. Jonathan, he said here said, read. Okay, so I'm gonna go jump to Senu again. Africa need to know about our history before colonization. That's also one thing. Kemetic is our true history, even though the power that we try to cover that part of history. 100% we can feed all of East Africa, so can Kenya and Tanzania. Good point, Sam. Again, I've been waiting for you to come in live and share your opinions with us, but you're not still joining. Are you still afraid that your voice is not going to be nice enough? Because I was afraid the same way too, but so you can join in.
Well, I think he just wants to have his moment, or
yeah, I definitely, understand him.
Today would be nice.
Yeah, it would be really nice to have him because he's been commenting, writing, and I appreciate the comments, but I also appreciate the discussion that we're going to have here.
Yeah, if he has time to write, he has time to speak, I would think,
And actually, speaking is much easier than writing. So, Sam, we're pushing you to come in, join, please, please, please. And all right, so let's continue. Sam is a little bit shy and he's going to come in. It's okay. Africa, only fools think Africa is poor. Either they don't understand the meaning of wealth. Sad, we have been recolonized by a paper dollar, and we are under illusion that Africans are free. GB. Well said, actually. I agree with your point. Yeah, we're under the illusion that Africa is free. Yeah, that's actually a nice point, GB. And I would like to have you here too. I want you to join in and share your opinions with us. That would be really amazing, GB. So basically, Africa is under the illusion that Africans are free. We promote freedom, democracy. What if democracy doesn't work? This is the question I always ask Mika. Today I'm going to ask you, and also my friends most of the time. Once I asked Mika, and he actually agreed with me. What if democracy is not meant for Africa? What if we need another philosophy? Are we really up for a philosophical advancement in Africa? What if democracy is just another communism? And another, another system that's going to fail, like Marxism, because it seems like that right now. Democracy doesn't seem to work in many aspects because countries that are promoting democracy are actually, limiting the rights of people in their own state and trying to promote others in here. Who is this who stepped in? Could you introduce yourself and just jump in, please?
Yes.
Not Josie, not Marit, but
yes.
Yes, come on in, please. Tell me your name and tell me about you, and let's join in.
Hi, it's Sanait. Sanuti.
Yay! Good to have you here.
Yeah, for sure. I've been absent for a while, just busy with work, but happy to be with you guys.
Right.
Sharing. Yeah, so I've been listening. Great topic. Really broad. So do you want me to continue or you just want to introduce? Continue? Okay. Yeah, so I like what the lady, I'm sorry if I said your name incorrectly, the one from the Dutch lady. Sorry, I forgot your name. Maurice. Yeah.
Marit.
Marit. Sorry about that. I like what, towards the end what you mentioned about the coffee situation. So thanks for actually helping speak truth to what's going on. And I think our nature as Africans, we're very kind people, right? We're very welcoming. We welcome everybody, So, and part of the reason I think as Africans, I don't think they're lazy per se, but the mindset was was brought for them to be that way because of AIDS, and we were, they were told that things are brought in for them to eat, or like it's farmed in Europe and it's brought to Africa, right? So they haven't been really pushed as a society to do for self. So with time, eventually, what happens is that you become stagnant, or even if they do farm, they try to sell their products. How can they compete when things are coming from Europe to be sold in Africa? Like, for example, in Nigeria, they have vast amount of tomatoes, but a lot of things like tomato paste is coming from Europe, and they use tomato paste quite often in their dishes. So when you have all these fresh tomatoes and they can't even sell it to other, African countries or within themselves, sorry about that, then it becomes like, discouraging for them to do business. Right? Hold on. Thank you. Yeah. To do business with other African countries, or even within themselves. So again, the policy that's being passed by our government leaders, it's not really to the best interest of our people. So we must address the cause issues from the root, and to change the mindset, to change the policy, make sure it's being favored to our people. People selling coffee, growing coffee, like you said, why are they forced to use fertilizers by European companies? Why can't they use organic, natural, from Africa, or made by Africans? So again, it's these companies that have been in power for so long, right? And they're getting away. They come there. They have no one fighting them. They pay these African leaders, or these, whoever's in charge, and then they implement their policy. So then our people are left dry. They have no one to fight for them. They have no policy to protect them. So all these things play into that role. So I think if more of us diasporas, again, like that, have the knowledge, or even Africans, because there's a lot of hardworking Africans trying to do their best to be innovative. But again, funding, they don't have the funding, to borrow money. It's like ridiculous amount of interest, But if somebody from European or like a white person comes in, they're given the red carpet. This is nothing to say that's not true. This is just factual, So we imagine the process was reversed. Let's say if Europeans were not, were not given first-hand treatment, but let's say Africans were given the first-hand treatment to do business in Africa, and not the true owners of the land. So imagine that. How would they feel then, right? So, or how would they operate, right? So
Yeah.
these are the things that we have to think about.
Sanu, are you there?
Educating ourselves and everybody else around us, especially the people that are on the ground trying to make a difference, to believe in themselves, for us to believe in our own people, to educate, because a lot of things, we don't know our true history. The history that's given to us is, again, the education system that's given to us is not by Africans, it's by the colonizers, and it's still in place. So, all these things are like, it's hard to hear, but it's the truth. So,
Sanu, can you speak a little bit louder?
Like the guest here, she could also share with her friends and see what's really going on and how can we change it. So we don't have to be at each other's throat. We can work with each other by being honest and be fair going forward. We're willing to work with our Europeans to do business and whatnot, but fair, right? Something beneficial to both parties. And if they cannot do that, then get out. Sorry. But you got to be, you know what I mean? We have to put our foot down. No more being nice, And then I think the diasporas, we need to go back again. We need to help and educate and invest in our own people. Treat all of them as well, right? Not go there and then act like we're better than the people on the ground and mistreat them, because then we're just being like the colonizers as well, right? So yeah, I'll stop at that for now.
Okay.
Thanks for listening, everyone.
All right, Sunny, very thank you. Last points were a bit shady for me. If you've heard her clearly, so it's good. Thank you for pointing out the potentials and still the problems and the need to change. Um, we need to work on change again. That's no questions asked, and it's a no-brainer. So reason the reason Africa is poor is because we didn't believe in Africa. That's my belief, and this is my opinion. It's not. It's no point to scream like, for example, most of the time we scream out loud to return back our heritage, but we don't seem to work towards creating a new heritage that we're going to leave behind tomorrow. Our generation, our next generation is going to protect. What have we left behind? Those are the questions today. It's a challenge, it's a homework, it's also at the same time a discussion point. I want everyone to be puzzled today. Ask ourselves, because we chose this state. We chose this state that we are in. We're not poor. We're just comfortable where we are. Because guess what? Yesterday, just yesterday, I was walking to buy something to. I just went to a shop, and then I heard group of people discuss about the sweetness of poverty, and I was like, did I just hear that right? Is it my ears, or did the lady just say like being poor is good? I was like, what just happened? Again, I don't know the lady. I can't go and talk to her about this thing. And I was like, I was frustrated. I was so frustrated that the people actually enjoy and admire poverty. And I was like, oh, no, no, no. When you're poor, you're at peace. When you're poor, you're, what do you call it? You sleep well. I mean, sleeping doesn't actually, show that you're poor or rich. Basically, sleeping shows that you have enough time to sleep a lot of time. So that's basically the harsh reality. But people are comfortable where they are, and this comfort needs to go away. We need to take that comfort off. We need to start dressing up people with uncomfortable things that they will feel uncomfortable, and change the status of Africa. The coffee is one potential, gold is another potential, uranium is another potential. We have a lot of potential in Africa. If we talk about potential, Africa is fully potential. It's a ticking bomb. Africa is a massive potential. It has this potency inside, and then that amazing potency helps Africa become like the target for everyone to just want to grab and grasp, get a good grip on it, and then take whatever Africa has. That's where we need to step in. The new generation, the One Africa generation, needs to step in. This is, we believe that by organizing the youth, we're not going to overthrow a government. We're not going to fight with politics. We're going to just enlighten the youth to properly use the potential of Africa. This is about enlightenment. This is about showing the direction, because we can learn a lot from others too. Like, for example, from Marit here, planning. That's one thing we lack. To plan to fail is to fail to plan. Yeah, I think I said it reversely. To fail to plan is to plan to fail. That's how it goes, right? So like, we need to really have a plan. We need to have a strategy. We need to develop something. We need to stop saying, come on, who knows what's going to happen tomorrow? Most people in Ethiopia are like, who knows what's going to happen tomorrow? Nothing is predictable in Africa, and all those things. So we need to really work on those perspectives. So Cherry, I think if I said your name right, is it Cherry and Matisse?
Yes. Hello. This is Sharia. This is Marie Antoinette, also known as Shari.
Oh, Marie. Okay. Welcome to the discussion today. And just jump into the topic, or say whatever you feel like saying.
Well, I need to say something a little controversial today. I think that the complacency that we're seeing is based in theology taught to us by the baby boomers, which is what I would say people in my parents' generation. My parents were born in the 1950s. Their theology is what has caused this complacency that we are seeing, and that is why we are so passive and we do not question things that we should question, right?
Okay.
So that's that, and when we try to make changes in the society, then you see, instead of quietly trying to understand the younger people, they try to intervene and stop and weaken our efforts. I can't say it in a more diplomatic way. The baby boomers at this present time are a destructive force, and I apologize for saying it, but it is the truth.
When you say baby boomer,
The people born in around the 1950s, I noticed they just try to they are a hindrance.
oh, so you're saying it's that generation that's the hindrance of Africa?
Yes, definitely, definitely a hindrance. And there are exceptions. There are exceptions to every rule, but they actually revel in their passivity, in their complacency, in their mediocrity. We've had enough. We've had enough.
Because you're not the only one with this opinion. I've met a person with the same opinion. When when the corona pandemic came, he just said to me, "It's going to kill old people, so let them die. They are the ones holding back." And I didn't agree with this, but he said that, like, word by word, they are the hindrances of the development of our country. So you agree with that point? That means they are holding us back. That's what you're saying.
Definitely.
But
Definitely.
how? Okay, let's see it. So Africa is poor by choice. That's my topic today, and we're so lazy that we're not actually taking step to developing Africa and using the full potential of Africa. What do you have to say about that?
I think it has a lot to do with um, the lack of empathy of that generation. And it's not really everybody in that generation. I'm still trying to figure out how we how they developed this lack of empathy. Our leaders will take offers from foreigners, and the kinds of measures that they need to put in place to accept these loans are measures that a person with empathy would not be willing to take. Let's say, for example, I am the president of a generic country in Africa, and a foreigner comes to me and says, all right, I will give you X million US dollars to for you to fund weapons for conflicts between different tribes. In addition, I will give your children scholarships to Harvard. In addition, I will, what else? You're not allowed to raise any salaries, and you must fire half the public service.
Hmm.
If I am an empathetic person, would I be willing to accept these measures? And they do it with ease. The people in this generation, which I am beginning to wonder whether this generation is cursed. How could they accept this? My second home is Cuba. All right? Fidel Castro was from that generation, but he was unwilling to accept these measures. If you are a person of empathy, you would have great difficulty agreeing with this sort of imposed. It's as though the entire population is one collective human sacrifice that you have made. Does this not bother their conscience just a little? No, it is so serious. It is so serious. Many of these people are Christians. If they saw someone from, let's say, some type of indigenous religion making a human sacrifice, they would denounce it. But you can sacrifice an entire population of people, and just with ease. That is in fact what they have done. But I mean, I read an article in which it stated that the people who funded a certain unit in Africa was disappointed that because they didn't want to use the money for conflict and instead wanted to use the funds for development of Africa. So they tried they put measures in place so that the money that they lent to the African countries must be used for conflict and not development. And you will accept that deal. Oh my goodness, no. It has to stop. Tell the baby boomers, go home. Go home, let us take over and stop this garbage.
I think, yeah, there are lots of people who agree with you, actually, and I do agree with you, to be honest, because I see change as, I see a generation that fears change. I see a generation that says, there's this saying, I think it's a Chinese or Arab saying, basically, but in Ethiopia there is a saying. Once I was in a taxi. I was just taking a ride, and there were people with me. And then it's 12 people who travel with you when you are using a taxi in Ethiopia. So I sat there, and one of the guys said, "No, no, no. The devil that we know is better than the angel that we don't know." And I was like, "Wait a minute. How is a devil, by any wording, like any kind of language, how is that even a possible choice than an angel? By default, an angel is kind of good, so the devil is supposed to be bad. How could you choose the devil that you know over the angel that you don't know, just because you're scared, right? Just because you're afraid of change, just because you're afraid it would affect you, and somehow, there's a lot of thing happening in the world. The world is changing in different perspectives. But when you see Africa is still calm. It's still saying it's gonna be okay. Just hang in there. No, it's time to say no more hanging there. No more holding back from taking what we have to take. What is ours will be ours, and we need to grow Africa now. There is no tomorrow. Tomorrow is never a promise. Today is a promise. So today, that's why I said today, this is why my topic is this one today. Because I knew it's gonna, anger some people, make people be afraid of this idea. But Africa is poor by choice. Our parents, our forefathers didn't leave a land, a pillar that we can stand on and build Africa on. They just vanished, and they keep vanishing, and they keep teaching us that don't touch this, don't touch that, it will burn you. don't join the politics. They will just, destroy your personality. Don't do this, don't do that. It's all with the don't do's and don'ts. Like, it's weird. Like you said, you're Christian, but you can appreciate corruption. You're Christian, you don't have empathy, you are paralyzing by taking that money from whoever is giving you the money. You're Christian, you preach that one, but yet you don't live that life. And then what makes you different than a pagan? Like, it's just no difference. In Africa, it's just all the same. This is facts laid out by you, Marie Antoinette. I really agree with that one, because it's just completely true. We need to, like, fill in the gap, and then just take charge. Take charge. They don't have to disappear. We just need to take charge of the conditions. So I want you to continue, Marie, a little bit, and then I'll give the chance to Marit, then Josie, and Senu is trying to come in, and also Senu will be joining us. So her battery died, so she sent me a message. Now she will be joining us. So Marie Antoinette, continue, please.
I think we have a paradox in that we have a very communal culture, and at the same time a very selfish culture, because on small matters we're very communal. We can sit and eat together at short notice, but on large issues we're very selfish, and everyone is trying to be a star. Everyone wants recognition, and that is why they are willing to sacrifice others to get it.
Okay.
So those are the points I wish to make today, and I'll just listen so that I can learn more.
All right. I'm going to give the next chance to Marit. Marit, continue before you leave. I know you're about to go somewhere. And I am surprised that you speak a little bit of Amharic. You just said Gitay Barke Abenezer, and that means God bless you. Thank you, Marit. That's a good
Yeah.
All right. So continue and just give us something, and before you leave, and just then you can go. And I really appreciate what you have contributed today and what you've said, your honesty, and I hope to have you on this platform most of the time. And your feedback is important for us. So could you say one more thing, and just I will let you go.
Yeah, well, what Marie Antoinette was just saying about the baby boomers, I think it's very important to have a former generation to lean on, I think that's what she means, that she's missing that, right?
Yeah.
And I think partly here in the West, we experience not the same that we lack the ability of leaning on the previous generation, but more that they think they're done. They've done their part and they just leave us. So yeah. So but it's true, in my church, for example, we have a lot of people in, like, they're 70 now. They're never there. They're always on a holiday, going everywhere, and they are not able to build on our church community then. But if we want to change, the new generation want to change anything, then they come, with their complaints. So that's the struggle then, It's good to have a mix, You need people to be leaning on, but they don't need to hold you back. So I think that's the same struggle a bit then. That's what Marie Antoinette was saying. So yeah, and well, basically it's just, you have to respect your elders, that's true. But you also have to make your own choices and your own faults too. Be able to to fail in your own and learn from your mistakes.
That's amazing, actually. So it's the same story everywhere. So the baby boomers need to step down, and the young generation that is ambitious, committed, and dedicated needs to take over.
Yeah, I think they also have trouble in letting go. Then, we can do things our way, and it doesn't have to be the same way that they did it. Doesn't mean it's wrong. Doing stuff different doesn't make it wrong. You can make adjustments to this generation,
True.
So
true. So true. I agree with that one. So thank you, Marit. God bless you. And
yeah, you too.
I hope I'll see you next week on the same session. So yeah,
We'll
you'll
see.
join.
We'll
All right.
see. Okay. Well, maybe
you.
I'll give Sam the podium then.
All right. Donkey Bell is thank you, right?
Yes. Okay.
Donkey
Bye.
Bell. All right. Okay. So Josie, what's your take on this one?
Yeah, actually, there are barriers raised so far. Still, we are pointing to our back. I'm sorry. Of course, there were factors, barriers, which are caused by some politicians in the past. There are also barriers which are caused by some spiritual leaders in the past. Again, we have some legends, who made a point, who did a good deed for Africa too. That is what we have to point to, as to me, as current generation.
Yeah.
As generations of today, what should we look at? What should we make the way? What should we follow? Which one should we follow is the point, Yes, there were bad leaders in Africa, selfish leaders. However, we have already mentioned we have brave leaders, which we mentioned earlier. And then that is what we have to follow. Now, we are aware, and we have got some experience that lead us to choose what is right in the spiritual world and what's right, what is needed in secular world too. We don't have to forget that there are good spiritual leaders, spiritual persons. For example, according to our locality, there are different spiritual persons that are praised for age, for their good deed for Africa, to Africa, Again, and so what is expected of this generation should be a point.
Yes,
we don't have
but
to. Yes?
Yes, I agree with you. But what Marie Antoinette was trying to pinpoint was, like our fathers and a bit of forefathers, grandfathers, weren't able to take change as a course of life. We weren't taught that changes would happen in our life, because most youth of my age nowadays live with their parents, and they sometimes the fear of losing their parents paralyzes them, and you can see it in their eyes, you can see it in their souls. You can just feel it, the fear that they have, because they weren't taught that parents won't last long. Parents will actually pass, but what you should be worried about is what you should do for your parents before they pass. So the things, like simple things like this, they were not taught by our parents. And most people, you find them on the streets, and they talk about, I heard 3 old men cursing this generation, saying this is a cursed generation. Like, this is why God is, like, doing this and doing that to us. And I asked those 3 people once, and I said, did you raise this generation right? If you raise the generation right, you should be reaping what you sow. But you're not reaping what you sow because you didn't reap the right seed. You sow the wrong seed, which is hate, intolerance, not accepting, lack of commitment, lack of diligence, lack of willingness to change. All these things were planted on us, and then when change comes, in your country, then suddenly you start freaking out. You say, "Oh, what's going to happen? It's unpredictable. We don't know what's going to happen. So it's really not sure and stuff." And the other thing is, we don't have commitment. That's what Marie Antoinette was trying to pinpoint. The baby boomers kept us stuck, and they made us not deep but shallow. We're wide as a nation, as a continent. We're wide, but we're shallow. We're not, we don't have a good foundation. So the baby boomers kind of, yeah, I think I do agree with her, and I do agree with your point too. There are people who have been praying for Africa, for their countries, and there are people who fought a good fight and they passed, and some of them are still living. And those people we do need. Those people who accept change, we do need. We're not saying we don't need them. We're just saying we need to take charge of the change, because this is our motto, Proud African: be the change that you want to see, right? So this is the change that we want to see as an African. I want to be an agent of change. Today, I want everyone who joined One Africa channel, including you, to be agents of change. We need to take charge of the change that's going to come to Africa. This is a One Africa forum. This is a One Africa network. So we're creating a network of people to connect Africa together, to understand our culture, to understand the difference we have, the similarities that we have in cultures, in different cultures, and then use those differences and similarities as our strength and just develop Africa. That's my take from Marie Antoinette. Continue, Josie, please.
Yeah, I acknowledge that. I acknowledge the barriers, the factors. Actually, they were there. Yeah, but my point is not opposing their opinion, but we have no basement. We have there is no good foundation, and this generation doesn't have freedom to express his idea, to strive to make change, for fear of some traditional aspects, of course. But what points, what efforts are we making now to change this too, so that even at least if we can't, what effort are we making to make a good foundation to the next generation? And that is what we have to raise now. If you want to raise problems, yes, we have been, our leaders have been taking reliefs from different assistance from Western and other countries. Yeah. Right.
No,
For example,
Josie.
let me give you one example. So far, before 90s, they say, in Ethiopia, it was unthinkable to build the Grand Dam.
Of course.
At was begun, there were different terrorism around that, and even Allen armies tried to make Egypt, Sudan, and Ethiopia to have conflict on that area, while the dam makes no harm at all to any of them than its benefit, you know.
Yes.
And so even realizing this doesn't need anything, any basement, you know. And so beginning at least and letting the next generation go another step. If we simply talk about the faults, the problems, it doesn't make any sense, you know. It is good to know the problem, to find solution to it. And then we've got the problem, and then what should be a solution? What are we making? What is our contribution, and to what extent are we making effort to make change? And that is what I want to say. That is
Thank
what
you.
is worthy.
Thank you. Thank you, Josie. Thank you very much. That's true. We're not here to only discuss problems. We need to come up with a plan and a strategy to change the status of Africa for good and for better. So I agree with you 100%. But knowing and understanding the problem and accepting responsibility for the things that we haven't done so far. Most people didn't mention actually many of the things that I was trying to pinpoint in the first in the beginning of the session. I was trying to tell everyone, look around you, look around your country, look around your village, and just try to understand what potential you have and how much of it have you used. How much of the land that Ethiopia possesses has been used, has been actually cultivated, has been actually irrigated. How much percentage of the land is used? When you come to that one, then you don't see anything. You basically don't see any percentage of land being covered with, you know, a cultivated land with vegetations and all those production areas. It's only small places where there's water and where there's you know, like a little bit of urban areas, close to urban areas, close to Addis Ababa, close to somewhere. There is kind of production, but the rest of the country is, it's a bare land and no one has used it. And yet, you know, like we're asking for aid. And when even the war in Ukraine and Russia started, people were worried the aid is going to be directed to Ukraine, that Africa will be forgotten. For me, that was so pity. Like I felt so disappointed. I felt so sad. How can Africa be affected? I mean, we were supposed to send Ukraine help. We're a great nation. We just haven't realized that yet. You know, it's like a lion cub. A male lion cub doesn't understand he's still king of the jungle. But the second he understands that one, the second he understands that the potential that he possesses is the potential of a king, there's going to be a kind of struggle between the alphas. That there's going to be a bit of a fight and fear. You know, like I have to defeat, I have to win and become the king. I have to lead my own pride. That's what even an animal faces. When you understand your potential, when you say like, oh my God, I've been sleeping for how long? Then we need to wake up. We just don't need to wake up. We actually need to be struck and woken up. We need to have it hard on us. Like, get it hard. Get a good slap from life. And then just wake up and rise up to make Africa shine as a one Africa nation. Just being an African. So that's the perspective. I hope you understood my perspective too. So GB here said we will never get a freedom by asking Africa needs to industrialize and start making modern weapons to guarantee our lasting peace and freedom. Yes. To Nigel from Nigeria also was saying the same thing. We need to have our own military. The AU doesn't have a military. That's funny though. The United Nations has the military. The AU doesn't have military. Definitely, Africa needs its own military. Africa needs to develop in every aspect of its potential. We need to grow as one nation to defend our treasure, to defend our heritage, to defend the potential that we possess. I agree with you, GB. So Yenatan is saying, love your animal analogies. I guess that is going to be a bit of a sarcastic message, Yenatan. Point taken. And thank you, actually. Actually, I'm a very, what do you call it? I'm an animal lover. That's why I like understanding animals, because it helps me understand the hierarchy in a society, in a community that they live in. So yeah, I like animals. That's why I use animals as an analogy. So yeah, that's a good one. Don't forget also at the same time, don't forget to share these links so that people can also get this discussion that we had, because this will be on YouTube and you'll need to share it with people who you think need to hear this, and also like and subscribe to the channel, and just help us grow, and like help us send the message out there to everyone who needs to hear it, whether African or not African. So, and also, I'm not the only one on the show. There are lots of shows every day, every night, and every daytime also. So if you have time, just click the notification button, and then you'll get a notification when the programs are, so you'll get the information. So don't forget to do that. I think I've covered most of my discussion points that I pointed out today. So let's we've been screaming out what they have taken from us. What was taken from us? We've been yelling and screaming, and that didn't change anything. Like, we need to change what's coming. We need to change the future. The past is experience. So let's use that experience to affect tomorrow. Let's use that experience to just change tomorrow, because tomorrow is a possibility. That's what we call potential. Today is an opportunity that's given to us. Then let's use opportunity that we are provided today to affect lives and change lives in Africa. Let's reach out to all of Africans and then send this message that Africa forgot that it's sleeping on treasure, and then started begging for bread. We're not meant to actually ask for bread. We're actually meant to send out the breads, even the raw materials. We were supposed to send them out from Africa, and then be at peace with one another in Africa. We need interstate relationships in Africa. Kenya needs to have a railway from Ethiopia to Kenya to Djibouti to Somalia to Sudan to Tanzania, Uganda, Democratic Republic of Congo, Ghana, everywhere. We need to go everywhere. We need to reach everywhere in Africa. We need to work everywhere. We need to live everywhere in Africa. We have to have the right to be in Africa as Africans, because we need to stop treating Africans in a different way. Like when I go to Kenya, I don't have to be treated in a different way just because I'm African. And no one if I am a human being, whoever is standing with me, whatever color their skin is, they have treated They have the right to be treated as humans, just the way I have to be treated. I need to treat others. That's it, as simple as that. So we need to rise up now. We can't wait for tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Ebenezer. Here, as far as the aid is concerned, let me give you some points. There is a person who can make, or a woman who can make delicious food. And then a woman, one of the women, let's say, makes the delicious food and then feeds a child. And then the child grows up like that. And another woman feeds or making or her the child taste the delicious food and then just practice making that food, cooking that food. You get me?
Yeah.
One cooks and feeds, and the other just let him or her taste and then train how to cook that food. The one who is trained eats that delicious food whenever he wants or she wants. But the one who reared up eating the prepared one simply expected from someone, That is the matter of the aid, How the aid helped Africa. We have a land to be cultivated, and they give us rice or corn or whatever, which can be cultivated on our own land. And instead of serving us or granting us that much aid, it would have been better if they make us or help us to cultivate our own land. Imagine, had the Grand Dam built just 10 or 20 years before, imagine the change.
It would have been a game changer.
Yeah. By then, imagine expense for materials needed to build the dam, and then think of the profit that we earn, that Ethiopia earned from that dam, So simply expecting aid make us poor again.
True.
And that was, I think, their objective, their goal. They don't want us to be extinct, to die out, and they do not want us to get developed.
True.
And that is how the aid works. And
Yes.
As far as my opinion is concerned.
And Josie, you're right. The aid is always attached with something behind it. Something, in a sense. For example, they give you aid for women and children. They give you aid for agriculture. They give you aid for specific project in the agriculture sector. But that's it. I think that's why the Bible, when you read the Bible, it says, whoever asks you, just give it to them. And we've developed an idea that when someone comes to ask us for help, we will ask him, you want to drink with it? You want to chat with it? You want to smoke with it? What do you want to do with the money that I'm going to give you? It's not up to me to define what he's going to do or she's going to do with the money. If I have to help, it has to be free, no strings attached. If it's a kind and generosity that you're trying to show, just help. But the aid that we are given right now is just attached with something else. Aid, I completely disagree. Aid has to stop. It has to stop. And I'm willing to die. If it stops and I die, I'm ready to die. Let me die, and let me at least make the grandchildren that are going to come next to me strong and self-sufficient and self-sustaining. So aid, I completely agree with you. It has to stop.
And lastly,
So continue.
the point I want to add is, if you are accustomed to borrow some machine or material from your neighbor, unless that person refuses to lend you that material, you won't strive to buy. But if that neighbor refuses not to lend you anymore, and then you get motivated to buy that material.
True.
And that is our saying,
Yeah.
And
true.
people fear maybe aid might be stopped from out, and this is fear of people,
Yeah. True.
But that is an advantage for those who are ready to make change, to seek independence. And that is what I want to say. Really, today's platform is an alarm, an alert to most of Africans, and it should reach every African, and whether educated or not, it is needed, because we have potential. We don't have to undermine ourselves, our potential. We can change Africa. We can make a point. We can drop a droplet of water to ocean of change that comes up in Africa, and that is the mentality we have to develop. And we should have a mentality of change. This doesn't need any expense.
All right. Thank you, Josie. Thank you, Josie. Thank you, Josie. Thank you, Marie. And thank you, Marie Antoinette. Thank you, Sam. Thank you, Sanite. Thank you, Yenatan, GB, all of you, Josie, and thank you, all of you who contributed for today's platform. I'm glad that we had this conversation, because I believe we're all blessed by it. And then it's time for change. It's time for Africa, and we really need to step up and take charge. Let the lion in here. Let the laziness in here. Let's not choose to be poor. Let's prosper Africa together. So I'm gonna end today's session with this one, and I'll be waiting for you next week with a different topic at the same time, and we'll have an amazing time together again. Until next week, this is going to be a good night for me. And think about the things and the points that I said earlier. Africa needs to rise up and wake up today. Don't forget to subscribe, share, and like this show and the rest of the shows that are going to come next to me: Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Tomorrow we have a recap with Pastor Ezra, and Saturday there's, I guess, Biggie, and then Sunday we have another show, Mwenda Tazy, and it's gonna keep on going. We're gonna understand Africa. We're gonna change Africa. Don't forget again to subscribe, like, share to anyone who needs to hear the messages of Africa. And we need to gather up everyone we have around us, any African, non-African, it doesn't matter. Whoever loves Africa needs to join this platform. Please invite people in. Until next time, this is it from me. Goodbye and good night. And ponder on this point that we discussed today. Thank you very much.